All right, guys, what is going on? My name is Ollie Ward. Welcome back to the Ollie Ward channel. Today, we are joined by a guest, the most subscribed Leeds United content creator. That is correct. Yes, you can see him on your screen right now. It is Ger. Ger, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, mate. It's nice to be on the most positive man in the YouTube game. How are you doing?
Mate.
You good?
Yes, I'm very well, thank you. I'll take that. I'll take that award. It's fine because, you know, you're stealing all the awards and I'll take the most positive award. But either way, before we do get into this video and you want to see more collaborations with me and Ger, me and other content creators in the space, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you're new as well, and get your comments in if you like this sort of format. So, Ger, let's get straight into this. Leeds United right now, we are... You know, we're outside of the relegation zone. Who would have thought? I mean, just sum up December. I mean, we've had a good month so far.
I don't think anybody saw this coming at all. I think we finished it on a Forest game and went, well, that's that then. Back off to the Championship we go. We've dropped below the red line. The week of all weeks, Daniel Farke spent the entire press conference talking about not being below the red line, 1 point per game, and then lost to 1 point per game, fell below the red line. And you did look, and I think anyone with a brain and a set of eyes would have looked and went, Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool, oh Jesus, this isn't going to be good. And you'd Aston Villa in the mix as well. But Elland Road has been a huge factor in December as well. The fact that we at least saw one half of positivity against Aston Villa in the first half, really, really good. But that's been a Leeds problem all season of, well, we're good for 45 minutes in one half or the other, but we've not put 90 minutes together. And you can argue that's still potentially the case outside of a couple of games. But the Man City game, you're 2-0 down at half time. You're thinking they're playing with their food here. Like this could be a cricket score if they decide. And then Daniel Farke does the one thing that everybody was asking for. Yeah. And he goes 3 at the back. And I was doing a watch along and I saw Jacobi all in the tunnel. I went, he's not doing it, is he? He's not actually. Is he? Is he going to? And then I saw Lucas Metch. I was like, hang on a second. He's going 3-5-2 here. Okay, I'm not against this. Let's have a look. Let's see. And then you saw the second half that we saw. And you're like, wow, desperately unlucky. Only for Vardy jumping over the ball in the last minute. You come away with a point. But everyone talk about a defeat that felt like a win. Coming off the back of that going, there's life in this team. And then we go back to Elland Road and we batter Chelsea.
Yes.
Probably the best performance I've seen. Now, I still have a bee in my bonnet around one thing. That's how Leeds need to play. It's not just the 3-5-2. It's the high press. It's the forward play. And that went against Liverpool in the first half. We sat back. And that was the problem. Second half, it was gone. Back into it again. And then even against Brentford, we sat off in the first half. Maybe contained them. Maybe there was a plan to contain them, which you could argue worked in a lot of half time. But then the second half, we come out all guns blazing. We sorted out that issue after the first 10 minutes after the second half. But you look at all those games in their entirety to now, and you kind of go, there's definitely sprouts of life. This team can mix it in this league and can stay in this league. They do need additions in January still. We can't paper over the cracks and say they're good without them. But playing a certain way, playing a certain system, playing a certain style, they can compete and upset teams and disrupt teams in this league. And there's a blueprint there now for the rest of the season of how Leeds need to go. And it's been an incredibly positive December, not just the fact that you've picked up 5 points, but also you look at the opposition you've played against and the performances. Like second half against Liverpool, we were really, really good. Really, really good. 90 minutes against Chelsea, they were rattled. I think and the first half against Villa, my brother's a Villa fan. And he texted me at half time and was like, Jesus Christ, I went, you boys are rattled. And then he texted me after the game, went, Daniel Farke killed you. And I went, yep, yeah, he did you. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we all saw that coming. But the big thing for me is, and we've been saying it for weeks, something needed to change. The system, the style, the approach, or the manager. One of those 2 blocks needed to change. And he's changed it. And he deserves credit for changing it. There's growth there. I don't want to see him slipping back into old habits. I would like them to stop sitting on the edge of the 18-yard line starting games. I'd like to see them high press more and put teams under more pressure because I think they're better when they do that. But I can also understand maybe against certain opposition, there's a reason for that. But I think at home against Crystal Palace, back in Elland Road next weekend, I'd like to see us get at them early. But it's been incredibly positive, Ollie, and I don't think any of us saw this. We're back to a point per game. We're 3 points clear of West Ham, who have got their own sets of problems. Possible talking about sacking Nuno as well now after him coming in. So everything's going in the right direction right now. but you don't want to get too cocky too soon because Leeds have a habit of being Leeds.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Don't say it out loud.
Yeah, no, 100%. And we will. It is typical Leeds. We don't want to get into it right now about staying up and where we're going to finish and things like that. But I think before we touch on Crystal Palace at the weekend, the Brentford game was quite important because you play your Man Cities, your Chelseas, your Liverpools. Leeds are always going to be up for that. Famously, historically, we're going to be up for them games. And Brentford, if Brentford put 3 or 4 past us, that would have been like there we go. That we were maybe just up for them games. But actually, Brentford were there for the taking, and Leeds maybe could have got 3 points out of that game. But what do you, if you could? Obviously, the formation change has helped, and Daniel Farke's not helped yet. It's actually been a revelation. Helped is quite underselling that. But if there's sort of 1 or 2 players that have helped and who have shone in this 3-5-2, is there any that spring to mind for you?
Yeah, I think Jakob Biel's been excellent in it because, especially when you consider in the last 2 games, he's been up against Thiago and up against Haaland and like a TK, but he scored twice in the second half. But that wasn't really Biel's fault. But if you look at, he's had Thiago and Haaland, who are the 2 top goal scorers in the league, and they didn't get a sniff off of him. No. Nothing. He sweeps really well. He lets Pascal Struijk play the way he wants to play and then gives him that cover in behind. He's swept well. He wins his headers. I like the physical nature of him. I like when he flattens somebody from behind and just stands over them a little bit. I'm like, yeah, I'm into that. I could see more of that, Get up. Let's see what you've got. So yeah, my kind of centre back. And it hides his weaknesses as well, his lack of pace and positional stuff as well. So I think right now it shows really well. I think 2 fullbacks of wing backs now have been excellent. I think Bogle and Gudmundsson. There's a lot of talk about the pullback goals and coming down the left-hand side. And my issue with this has been the same as it was against Brentford. The defence isn't the problem. Wingers will get behind you at times and will cross the ball. That's just a reality of football. But we still have an issue with centre midfielders not tracking runners. I mean, Anton Stach, for only he knows why he decides to stop running at the 18-yard line and let Jordan Henderson continue his run in to get the goal. And yes, there's a touch off Bial and, there's that kind of stuff. But Stach carries his run on. He doesn't score. It's that simple. Ethan Ampadu, 3 games in a row. If he tracks his runners into the penalty area, they don't score. Sean Longstaff does it. They don't score. Okafor, they don't score. So it's none of them have been defensive problems for me. But I think if you look at what Gudmundsson and Bogle have given Leeds from an attacking perspective, they've been phenomenal. And if you look at Gabby Gudmundsson's defensive stats, especially in the last 2 games, I think he's been up there with the highest number of duels won, highest number of recoveries. He kept Estevao at Chelsea to nothing. The kid was taken off at half-time. One of the best young footballers in world football, kept to nothing. Against Brentford as well, nothing down that side, couldn't get past them. Piroe, who's had a very strong season for Brentford, nothing, literally got nothing off of him. So defensively does that. Jayden Bogle never has the overall defensive statistics that maybe everybody else has, but you see what he gives us going forward, So I think they've been phenomenal, and I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Lucas Mecha up front together as a pair, and that helps Lucas Perry as well because he's got 2 people to aim at and not just one, and that helps his distribution question. But I think the 2 of them have been fantastic together. I like Lucas Mecha a lot.
Yeah, so do I.
He's my kind of striker. But fair play to DCL. I saw the goal scoring graph of DCL's goals today, where they've all come from. It's a straight line from the 6-yard line to the penalty spot. Every goal he's got is bump, 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 bump in a little straight line. Yeah. And it's like the heading is consistency. And it's like, that's where I want my number 9 to be.
Yeah, exactly.
The penalty spot in the 6-yard line. But it's been great. It's been great to see it. And they're all... We said it before he changed it, that this system would highlight the strengths of this lead and hide some of the weaknesses. And I think since he's switched it, you're starting to see that. Now we're getting goals. We've got, 9 goals between the 2 free strikers now between Mecha and DCL, which for nothing, not bad. They get 9 Premier League goals between the pair of them. Midfielders are chipping in with goals now. Tanaka's looked, when he's allowed to go forward, he wasn't against Brentford. That's not his game. But he's been really good when he's been given the freedom to get to attack as well. So yeah, look, it's all very good. It has to continue. It's not. This is not the end of the season. They've got a lot of work still to do, and there's still little things for me that need to get tidied up. Those tracking, those runs. But yeah, I think from the player's perspective, there's a couple down the middle of the spine have done really well, and the wing backs look excellent. Yeah,
well, and the thing is with Leeds, we're 16th. No player's been perfect this season, obviously, and we've hit a brilliant turn of form. And it's recency bias, maybe, that people are starting to say Leeds are going to be fine, all these going to be, it's, as a Leeds fan, we know that's not the case. But let's look ahead to Crystal Palace before we talk January transfer window, who we need to bring in and things like that. Palace, Saturday night. they could be there for the taking with AFCON, with injuries, with 3 games. What is it, in 9 days or something?
Yeah.
Palace have got to play. What are your thoughts going into that? I mean, Ellen Road under the lights as well. I mean, it could be a huge 3 points.
Well, they've wanted this game moved, so I'm sorry that you've been successful in the last 2 seasons, Crystal Palace, but deal with it. They've their own sets of problems. They're 5th in the Premier League right now. I don't have a huge amount of sympathy for them. They're playing European football, so deal with it. The interesting one for me is Glasner, because now obviously it's come out this week that he's not going to sign a new contract and finish up at the end of the season. So you've now got players in the dressing room who know you're not going to be here soon. And that never tends to end particularly well. Managers never get to say, I'm finishing up at the end of the season, and actually finish up at the end of the season. They're usually sacked before then because it goes backwards. And he is missing a couple of players. Like Kamada is out. He's huge for them. Nunez is out. He's been big for them. There's question marks over whether they play Mateta against us or not, because he's the only striker they've gotten. They're trying to manage his minutes as well. And then Sarah's gone off to the AFCON. So they're missing a couple. Again, the Ellen Road factor is a huge part of that as well. But the Glasner question is the one for me. He's a good manager. I rate him. But he's clearly not happy with not being backed in the summer and has decided this long-term isn't for me. I've got bigger ambitions. So that's the one for me of how do the players react to the manager basically down in tools and saying at the end of the season, lads, I'm off. So yeah, it could be a good weekend for Leeds to get them. I take a point against them. I'm looking ahead to the Sunderland game going, well, they're missing 7 players. So that could be the one to maybe go and nick something.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine if you go the whole of December and the only loss you've got is Man City. I mean, that would be some sort of statement from Leeds and Daniel Farke. But let's move on to, well, in a few weeks' time now. It's going to be the January transfer window. Mine and yours probably busiest times when it comes to YouTube videos. I mean, what do you want to see? What did Leeds United need? Obviously, at the start of the season, it was a 4-3-3. You might have won some wingers, and now you're maybe looking at another striker to come in. What would you like to see? What would Ger like to see Leeds United sign in January?
Do something in January. That's what I want to see. For once, do something. Yeah. We haven't. Connor Roberts is the only player Leeds have brought in the last 2 January transfer windows, and that was a deadline day loan. So that's it. That's all they've done. They were very, very confident last January that they didn't need to do any business. And will tell you, and did tell people at the end of the season, it wasn't a gamble. We knew what we were doing. We were confident. It was like, no, you gambled. You absolutely gambled and got away with it. So don't gamble this time. There are still cracks there that need to be sorted. You didn't finish the jigsaw in the summer. Daniel Farke has given enough indication in the last couple of weeks for me to say that he wants more additions. Like he said, the desire is still there to finish what we didn't finish in the summer. So that's a right winger. And if he's going to alternate between the 2 systems, start with the 3-5-2, which is making us more defensively solid, and then switch to the 4-3-3 to try, or 4-2-3-1 to try and go and be more attack minded, then he needs another right winger, and whether that's going to be one that can come in on his left foot, like a Harry Wilson, which will be tough to get. Now Wilson's having probably the season of his career right now. He's out of contract at the end of the season. Fulham want him to stay there. They're not going to sell him. Does he come to us? We're not a million miles away from them in the league either. And if our project looks more ambitious than theirs, maybe he does. Maybe he sits out his contract till the end of the season and makes a decision then, in which case Leeds need to find somebody else. They've been linked with plenty of wingers. Batterina at Barcelona has been one that's been popping up as an option. He'd be a decent loan signing. Wouldn't be against that one at all. Was very good for Copenhagen when he was there. Vargas was linked today from Sevilla. He's injured until probably January anyway. So, he's having a good season, 4 goals. I think he's got 4 goals and 4 assists, or 4 goals and 3 assists. So from a right winger perspective, I still think they need to go and get one in there, because Dan James picking up a lot of hamstring injuries for a player who's a speed merchant doesn't bode well for the future, and maybe Leeds need to consider transitioning him into a right back at some point as well. And as he gets older and the speed starts to go with the hamstring injuries, that's kind of something they need to look at. But they're going to need somebody there. I like Willie Nanto out there, but I think they're going to need somebody else as another option. I still think they need a striker. Because I don't think Joe Piroe's on Daniel Farke's list of players he wants to play now, which I thought was unusual, because this system arguably suits Piroe better than any system Leeds have played in the last 2 years, because it's a 2.
True.
So I thought he'd get more game time, and he hasn't. He's gone with Okafor instead. So I think there's a striker needed there as well. They've been linked with a ton of them. Frank Foligno, Troy Parrott. Troy Parrott in a 2 would be good. Troy Parrott in a 1 wouldn't work. Wouldn't be an upgrade at all, but as a 2, possibly. Santiago Jimenez at AC Milan has been linked as well. He's not having a great time over there. question marks whether he does go or not, because his father said he's not going anywhere. The club have gone, yeah, you can go. So he's stuck in the middle there. And I think arguably we still need to get a number 10 like we've needed for 3 years. So I would like us to go and get, and people are going to be sick of hearing me say this guy's name. And I'm sorry, but I love him and I want to see him in a Leeds shirt. Eduard Spertsyan, because he can do 2 roles for you. He can play as an 8. He can even play as a 6. He played as a 6 against Ireland for Armenia and absolutely destroyed Ireland on his own. And then the second time around, played as a 10 and was brilliant against Ireland. He's just a very talented player. But he can play anywhere in that middle, but 10, 8. We probably need another box-to-box attacking midfielder. It's great having Tanaka there, but when Tanaka's not been in there or not been on his attacking best, there's a gap link in the 2 strikers with the midfield that for me, we need somebody there. So his season's unreal at Krasnodar. He's got 20 GNA in 18 games this season in the league, which is nuts. He's an assist machine. Set pieces as well. There's an argument about the standard of the Russian Premier League now. It's probably not what it was before. And it's not an easy transfer to get done. I don't think Leeds will do it. I don't think they will go and buy him. They were linked with him quite a lot. But for me, I don't think he cost a huge amount of money. You've got to navigate the complications of giving money to a Russian side that have an owner who's involved with Putin, which you're not allowed to do. So that has to go into a trust kind of thing or an escrow. But there's ways around it. But that's what I'd be looking for. I'd want a 10, a right winger, 10/8, a right winger and a striker, I think is probably needed. I think we've got enough at the back because Borneo is there now. He can fill in centre half. And Ethan Ampadu is very comfortable in the back 3 as well. So if they need to drop him in there and if Longstaff's back, bring him in there. You've got players you can move around. So the other 3 for me need to be done.
Yeah, I completely agree. And you've got James Justin back there as well. He's actually come in when he has to, and he's
very good.
Solid. Yeah, he's looked completely solid. And I think credit to all the substitutes in recent weeks. The likes of Aronson, Nonto, all coming on, and I think they've been great in terms of outgoings. You kind of touched on Joel Piroe just to finally chat about that. I kind of get what you mean. I think the reason Daniel Farke, in my personal opinion, might not go with him. I just don't think he's physical enough coming up against these centre backs. You see what Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Metcha do, but then arguably maybe Okafor's not. But I think Piroe maybe I could see him going out on loan or something in January. Could you?
I think they'd look for a sale, because if they want to bring in more than one player, I mean, the interesting one today with Vargas being linked was the fees around €9 million, which is £7 million. Leeds tried to sign Harry Wilson for £7 million. So if you're looking at what cash was available in the summer, there's possibly 7 million floating around. That could do that. But if you want to bring anybody else in, you're going to have to move players out or get them on loan. So you're not going to get players that are going to keep you in the Premier League on loan. The quality's not going to be there unless they're really unhappy at a Barcelona or a Madrid and they want to play football for the World Cup coming up, which is unlikely. Yeah. So you're going to have to sell some players. And I think the obvious ones, you're hoping Illan Meslier moves in January, but he can do what he wants because he's counting down his contract. He can sign a pre-contract agreement in January, sit on his hands and go, thanks for the money, lads. I'm here till May, and then take his time. So they need to get him off the books from a wages perspective. Take anything. They've made a mess of that. They've absolutely made a mess of that one. Joe Piroe is the obvious one. Apparently there's some interest in the Championship and in Holland in him. There was interest in him in the summer, so maybe that's still there now. He's not played much football at all. He might want to go and play football. Like barely kicked the ball this season. The other one's Jack Harrison. Yep. Does he have a place in this team? 9 months of football since November. No assists, no goals. Only created 2 chances this season. So does anyone want to take Jack Harrison, given the way last season went at Everton and this season? Yeah. With us so far. And then the wages as well, because he's on a big contract. So again, Leeds have made their own bed here on this one. He can sit on his hands again and just go, I'm not going anywhere, lads. So no problem. I'm not going to get this money anywhere else. Why would I leave? So I can sit here and just pick paycheck. So it's got to be tricky. The sellable assets are those. I mean, I think Harry Gray might go out on loan. Probably could do it going out on loan. I would like to see Leeds use him, but if they're not going to use him, send him out on loan. Yeah. Let him get some experience. But outside of that, people are talking about Ilya Gruev maybe being an option as well. But if Gruev goes, you've got to replace him then with somebody that can do the defensive stuff that he does. So yeah, for me, there's 3. It's Harrison, Meslier, and possibly Joel Piroe. And I don't like saying Piroe because I genuinely think Piroe could do reasonably well in this system. But maybe you're right.
I think we all spoke last season about actually Piroe's style of football probably suits the Premier League more than it does the Championship.
And a 2 as a second striker.
And a 2. And I know what you mean. He's going with everyone but Piroe at the moment.
Yeah.
And when I actually done a video the other day about 3 players that might leave. They were the exact 3 that I went for as well. I don't think they necessarily will, but if anyone was going to, it would be them. And actually, there was talks of Willie Gnonto maybe being that asset that could be sold before his last few games, where he's come on and actually looks really handy and leads.
Well, Juve apparently are very interested in him. So you might get, and he's not doing anything at the moment to decrease his value. If anything, he's adding money to what Leeds could get for him. So you've seen teams do that. Like Aston Villa have done it, Newcastle have done it, Everton have done it, where they've sold an asset where you think that's a strange player to be selling. But then they brought in 2 players with that money to kind of balance the squad out. So in the PSR world, you've got 1 more year of PSR before the new one kicks in, the SCR kicks in next season. You just got to survive. And then you don't even know if Leeds decided to go, feck it, let's just blow it out of the water and breach PSR. We don't know if there's going to be any impact next season because PSR is gone then. So do they so it's going to be an interesting window. I don't buy that we've no money left. I think we did have a bit of money left. I think there will be some creative accounting done in January to try and bring somebody in, but they need to do it, and they need to do it early in January. They can't afford to, play games here and go, we planned on going to the last day of the window because the best value is then. Nah, just get it done. Yeah. And let's crack on with the season.
I completely agree. All we know is we don't know names, but all we know, Leeds United, is you need to do something. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Ger, where can people check you out if they've never heard of you before?
You can check us out at the Leeds View on YouTube, or we have a website as well, TheLeedsView.ie. You can check us out there, and our stuff's on all the audio platforms as well.
Perfect. Give it a watch. Give it a listen, guys. I've been Ollie Ward. You guys have been excellent. Be sure to smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheery. Oh.